the Evergreen Media Network Studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. Treasure Coast Connector is the talk show and online community where we put a spotlight on interesting local businesses and resources, then connect them to you, the consumers in the community. Everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do. When we learn about what's happening in our own backyard and support local businesses, it strengthens our local economy. For details on the show, links to discounts, promos, past interviews, check out www.treasurecoast.com. Now, entrepreneurs, they get so excited when they launch a business. They work so hard and they want to see an amazing return for their effort. But unfortunately, they don't all succeed. However, with the right framework in place, they can. Joining me in the studio again is Diana Miret, and she is an international best-selling author. She is a CFO, and she has helped so many small and medium-sized businesses achieve 7+ figures in sales. She's here to talk about that and an upcoming workshop called Profit First. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Ellen. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Yeah,
I miss you guys.
I know, I miss you too. It's like four times, I think. The fifth time is a charm. You're just going to have to keep coming back.
I'm charmed.
Because so many businesses are just trying to figure out, after they get the sales, they want to be profitable.
Yeah.
And you get caught up in your day-to-day, and sometimes you wonder, where did my money go? Okay, but before we get started, I would love for you to tell people how you help them with your business profitability and sustainability, or why you got started in it.
Oh,
that's the better question.
Gotcha.
I'm wiggling in my seat. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm messing up my first question.
Nah, it's not a problem.
But
I love it. I love the question.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I retired, or I should say I failed at retirement, and I quickly got bored because I didn't have a hobby to go to. And I met a bunch of women at a networking event just to go meet people. And I realized that small business owners, they just really needed some tools. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have tools readily available to them, and so on and so forth, that us people who grew up in corporate have. So I said, my goodness, there is a gap in the market. There's people who need some basic information, some basic teachings and coaching, just a few tools combined with their big hearts. And they can just be so profitable. But the statistics, as you know, are really sad. I mean, most businesses don't survive 5 years. Mm-hmm. And the majority are dead by year 10, and the 90% are dead by year 10. And by the ones that are left are not always profitable. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of small businesses that are coming and going and coming and going, all because they lack some basic tools. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I know a couple tools I can help them with. So that's kind of what I do. And I love it. I love it when a small business thrives. I just love it.
Yes. And so you mentioned that, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, will fail at certain intervals. Mm-hmm. Then there are people that say to themselves that, well, this didn't work. But then they have another good idea. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they might have a few good ideas until something sticks, mm-hmm. but sometimes they don't. Like for what I'm trying to say is that sometimes they have the tools, but maybe legitimately it's the business model. So they figured it out, and now it's full speed ahead. But then there are these times that we have these ups and downs in our economy, like the Great Recession, of course. There were so many startups that were born out of that. But why though? Like, maybe give me a couple of reasons, specifics of what gets them in trouble when it comes to failing at profitability.
Well, you actually touched on the number one reason why businesses don't survive, and that is they create a product or a service that no one really wants, or there's not that big a need for. So the number one thing people need to do is research their market. Having a great idea is not enough. There's a lot of great ideas that have died a million deaths. People need or want a product, and then you go after creating a business around that. Not, oh, I had a great idea. I think everyone needs kitten leg warmers. That's not going to go very far. But if you consider what people need, then you can create a business around that. So that's the number one thing. Number two is you need a business plan. Most people just, they go on a website, sunbiz.org, and they open up a business and off they go. And they haven't thought about what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are the opportunities, what are the threats, what am I going to charge? If you're going to charge what everyone else charges, then why, it's a race to the bottom. We all know all these things.
Yeah.
But people don't think about that. They just start going. And that's the great part about an entrepreneur, but it's also their downfall because they don't think it through. And I think every business should start with a business plan, even if it's a one-pager that talks about what they're going to do and who they're going to do it for and how are they going to sell it, which is what you and I were talking about earlier, is how am I going to what channels am I going to use to sell my product? They don't give that some thought.
Yeah, you can't just stay behind your computer. A lot of people think that, well, maybe my next social media post or reel will go viral, and it's important to look beautiful online, to have an amazing website and to have consistent social media, even if it's like one post a week, but you have to do more than that. In terms of sales, but I could go on and on about that. So in your workshop, you were saying 50% of businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Yeah.
So now it's very easy to get caught up in the day-to-day of our business. Sometimes I see that it's almost time for lunch and I'm like, what have I really done? So now I love what you have said. I have to refer to my notes because you have said profit is not an end of year event. It is a habit. So what do you mean by that?
I do have to say that's a Mike Michalowicz quote, so I will give him credit for that statement, but it is absolutely true. Helen, would you go to the gym once and expect to lose 10 pounds? No. Would you expect to eat one salad, maybe two, and lose 10 to 15 to 20? No. But somehow we think one social media post, maybe 10, and we're just going to be viral and millionaires. No. Profit is something that has to be baked into every decision. So for example, I'm running to Staples to buy stuff for the business. First of all, was it in the budget? So that a budget's a good tool, a very important tool to profitability. I can count on one hand and I'd have lots of fingers left over how many small businesses I speak to that I say, hey, do you have a budget? The answer is none. The answer is none or almost none. So they run off to Staples. I need this and I need this. And they start pulling stuff off of shelves, goes on the credit card, and they don't give it another thought. That's the problem. That's the habit that needs to be broken. You buy or you spend in your business, number one, once you have the money. And number two, is it in the budget? So it's something I thought about, needed, and budgeted for. And third, is it necessary right now? Yes, I need to buy whatever today, but is it necessary today? Because I don't have the sales today. So can I hold off on buying that laptop or that new printer or whatever unless I have a certain level of so it becomes a habit to think about, where's this money going to come from? Your profit or debt.
Right.
Either one.
Yeah, and it's not a matter of looking at your checking account balance.
No.
So that's another thing.
Bank balance accounting.
Yeah. So explain that, because there are a lot of young people that I know that have so much talent and gifts and abilities, but maybe they haven't thought about this.
Sure.
So when we're laughing about bank account balance and living off of that premise, what do you mean by that, and what should they be doing instead?
Thank you. Yeah, that is also one of the main premises of Profit First, is we are going to all look at a bank balance. We're all going to do it. It is something we all do. Here's the problem with that. Your bank balance, when you signed on this morning while you're having coffee, said you had X amount of money in there. Maybe it was a good amount, so you were pretty excited about it. And you go, okay, yeah, that's good. I got money in the account and I can go off and do X, Y, and Z, whatever, Okay, great. Oh, that course, I was looking at that course. I think I'll, that coach I saw on Instagram, I think I have the money for it. I think I can do this. So then what happens is 5 minutes after they signed off their bank account, a big bill went through and they didn't see it. They didn't know it. They didn't remember it, and it wasn't in the budget. Mm-hmm. So what happens? They have nothing in the bank account, or it gets wiped down. And now they've just signed up for this coaching program or this new, I mean, I would love to have half of the courses I signed up for back, because I never got to finish them. I mean, and I know I'm not unique. Mm-hmm. Everybody does that. So we will look at the bank, but we cannot trust that business account, because anything can come through within 5 minutes of me signing off. Mm-hmm. So in Profit First, we open up a series of bank accounts, and we're probably going to get into it in a little bit. But one of them is called the operational expense account, lovingly known as OPEX. So OPEX is the one that pays the bills in the business. That's the one you can check the balance on. So we know you're going to do it anyway in Profit First. We know you're going to go and look at a bank. Okay, look at that one. Because there's another account that's called tax, and that's got money for the tax guy already in it.
So you ignore it.
So you ignore the tax account.
Until you have to pay Mr. Taxman.
And the money's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing with the profit account. Same thing with the owner's pay account. So all of that is feathered and nicely. So now you can look at the OPEX account and say, this is what I have to run the business on. While I've taken my profit first, my owner's pay, and taken care of taxes already.
Mm-hmm. So that's nice, because you do want to pay yourself.
No, you must.
Yeah. And a lot of times people don't even think like that. And then every now and then I meet people where they say, I have a paycheck. I actually pay myself. I know what my salary is.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And they should. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. You are the number one employee of your business.
Yes.
You're the most important employee of that business. Mm-hmm. You are the lifeblood. You stay up late. You work early in the morning. You work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You give up time and energy and not pay that person?
Yeah. You're worth it. You're actually worth those kitten leg warmers. But you know what Cindy is demanding that we do is we take a break.
All right.
We have a lot more to discuss about Profit First with Diana Miret. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Vero Beach, are you ready to light up the night? Join us beachside Saturday, November 4th from 5 to 9 p.m. for the 5th annual Beach Bonfire event. Stroll Ocean Drive and visit Heaton's at Vero Beach Hotel and Spa, The Boiler, Mulligan's, Costa Dieste, and Waldo's. Great food and music will be present at each location. Pick up your travel card for a $20 donation. Have it stamped at each location to get a chance to win great prizes. Donations to benefit Veterans Council of Indian River County.
Waves Auto Spa, known as Vero's fastest and finest. A car wash known for their quality equipment and attention to detail by a friendly and courteous staff. Waves offers soft cloth technology, and a top-notch detail center will help preserve the value of your car. Waves now offers windshield chip repair, and in most cases, it doesn't cost you a dime. Spend less time and get a better quality experience for you and your car at Waves Auto Spa, US 1 Vero Beach, across from Kmart Plaza. Open 7 days a week.
Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, and Carl Perkins, the $1 Million Quartet.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine.
Based on a true story, this show brings their extraordinary talents and personalities to life. The magic of the $1 Million Quartet. It's not just a show, it's the celebration of the music that defined a generation. Now playing at Vero's Riverside Theater through November 12th. Get your tickets now at the box office or riversidetheater.com.
Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I've been chatting with Diana Miret, and she is the business profitability coach, and you have a workshop coming up.
I do.
So, but before we get into that, because in the first half, we were talking about so many great things that I got a call in from like 5 different people saying, how do I get in touch with her? You know? So for those that are listening on iHeartRadio and the podcasts, because people that are watching can see it, but how do they get in touch with you for those that are listening?
So my website is www.dianamiret.com. And the workshop we're talking about, which we'll tell them more about, is understandprofit.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way to get a hold of it.
That's a nice URL. Did you have to pay $35,000 for that URL?
I did not.
Wow.
It was available. It shocked me. When I punched that in, it was like there. I was like, wow.
Because that's an awesome web address.
I also have aboutprofit.com.
Very good.
Yeah, so I'm going to use that one.
Very good. Okay, so now the Profit First workshop. This is on, and yeah, I have
January
October.
8th.
I have October. No, it is October 19th. Is it October?
No, it's October. No, October. It starts January 8th.
Okay.
Sorry if there was some confusion. That's my fault. January 8th is the first class. It's going to go 4 Monday evenings. So for the month of January, I thought about making sure that business owners have the tools they need as they start the new year. That's why I moved it to January. So you weren't wrong. It's just I decided to go with January.
See, I like having you on this time of year in the fall, because a lot of business owners, they get that fire under the fanny of, I'm so close to reaching a goal, and they just want to finish out their fourth quarter, doing well. And at the same time, they're thinking about 2024. So I'm just going to point, because I'm not supposed to. It's very rude to point. I learned that a few weeks ago. But I'm still going to point at all of you that are watching, because if you are in business and you care about remaining in business, and if you want to kill it, if you're under 7 figures and you want to cross over or go beyond, you need Diana and her workshop. I'm just going to say that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. We've been together so long.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah. And here in the Treasure Coast, where you live.
I do.
And you work with businesses all over the United States.
That's right.
But are you international as well?
Not yet.
Not yet. But
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you work with companies all over. But
I do.
In this close-knit community, knowing you for all the years that I've known you, if you were not delivering, she would be tarred and feathered out.
Yes, I would. I would not be around.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. And so what you do is amazing. So if you could go into a little bit more about what people can expect from the Profit First workshop.
Oh, that'd be my privilege. Thank you, Helen. Ellen. So the Profit First workshop teaches small business owners how to implement Profit First in their business. And it's simple. It's not hard to do. You can read the book, and in fact, you will read the book as part of the course. But it'll get them to do a couple of things. First of all, the very most important thing they're going to do is an instant assessment. This is the come to reckoning moment that we all need to come to. Where are we in our business? What am I spending on operating expenses? How much am I really paying myself? And then you come to terms with, what have I been doing? So the first piece of the class is going to be the instant assessment. Then we present what would be a target. So wherever you are today, there is a target. Now, you're either far from the target or close to the target. That doesn't matter. The point is, you now have a clear view of where you should be based on the best practices of hundreds of thousands of small businesses, because you're not unique. None of us are unique. People who say, well, you don't understand my business. Yeah, Profit First has been implemented in hundreds of thousands of businesses. And it works. It's okay. We understand.
So sorry, Buttercup, you're not that special.
I'm not that unique. So that's the second piece is, how do I fit? Where am I? And how can I set up a little roadmap to get to those beautiful percentages that I should be at? Then the class will have you open up your bank accounts, because it's a series of bank accounts. So you'll open up your bank accounts and get it ready for putting money in. And then in the third week, we actually set up your own personalized calculator. So every dollar you make, so just for example, every dollar you make will go into an account, a brand new account called income. And that income account is just a serving tray. It's just a place where everything goes and it sits there quietly, not being spent. And then on certain intervals, you'll go in and you'll put money in the profit account from there, in the tax account from there, in the owner's pay account from there. And then what's left is to run the business. All right. So we go through that calculator. How much am I putting each month or each week? You can do this weekly. How much am I putting in here? How much am I putting in there? So that's very personal to the business. And some people run payroll twice a month, and they need to time things. So we work together on that. And then finally, once that's in place, so now I have my bank accounts open. I now have a cadence. I now have a process. I go in and I move my money. And then I just put them on autopilot for a quarter. Go, do, be profit first. And at the end of the quarter, well, what do I do now? So we meet again and we say, okay, guess what's in that profit account? There's money in there now. You are profitable. You haven't spent it. So, and the money in the tax account, of course, is for your taxes. And then the owner's pay, you've been paying yourself. So what are we going to do with that profit money? That profit money is going to be used to, reward you for your hard work. And also, if you need to pay down debt, we'd like to use some of it for paying down debt. So the course takes you through that entire process and helps you set up that for the rest of your business's life.
Wow. So now this is meant for startups all the way through to like second stage companies, probably,
Absolutely.
Right?
There's I have several businesses that are over $2 to $5 million per year that are going to be implementing Profit First.
Wow.
So yeah, it doesn't matter the size.
Okay. Do you believe that Cindy is asking us to wrap up this show? It's not fair.
Cindy's wonderful. But,
she is. She absolutely is. But I loved that breakdown because now people have a really good understanding of how detailed this is, that this is not just a fluffy gloss over workshop whatsoever.
Nope.
You're going to be doing work, but you're going to yield tremendous benefits as a result and be super organized with your finances. So again, before we wrap up, what is your the websites?
Understandprofit.com. And I'll send you an email and you can register.
Yeah. And so when they go to understandprofit.com, that's where they go to register for the Profit First event. Right. Okay. So thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank
you for having me.
Always,
it's been a pleasure.
Oh my gosh, always amazing to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
And for those listening and watching, my name is Ellen Contreras, host of Treasure Coast Connector. I hope you have a safe, profitable, productive, safe week. Until next week, I miss you already.